All right, shalom, 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 Israel. Lamar coming back at you, know, lesson through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, we're coming back with a fourth installment of Let No Man Take Thy Crown. Right, and today's lesson is going to be on working out your own salvation. A little short, simple lesson. But before we get started, we want to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rekakadash. Right, perpetually, we want to get a peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We also want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of the house of David. His will and will, the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Right, and we're going to start off with the book of Philippians, man. Right, it's the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 12. It said, "Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but how much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling." Right, so we can, we're always looking at, you might be with a body, a camp, organization, a congregation, right, and it's good to be around brothers and sisters. It's good to be around righteous order and structure. But at the end of the day, right, when you go home at night, when you're alone, that's what matters, right? You can be keeping the commandments around brothers and sisters, right, doing everything right within the congregation and the organization. But what really matters is when they are not around. What are you doing alone, right? How are you working out your own salvation? How you are standing on your own 2 feet, right? Because you could be strong, just being with a body, but when brothers really feel that, man, is when they get alone, they get isolated. That's going to be the real test, right? So you have to work out thy own salvation. That's very, very important, because at the end of the day, you're going to be judged according to your works. Let's get Philippians. Philippians 3 and 13. It say, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth into things which are before." Right? So Paul wasn't thinking about them things behind. Right? He wasn't thinking about them things that he was doing in the world. Right? He got rid of the filthy conversation of the old man. Right? He was focused on the things that were before him at that very time. Right? And we could even get the NLT. Right? And it say, "No, dear brothers and sisters, I have not achieved it, but I focus on this one thing. Forgetting the past, I'm looking forward to what lies ahead." Right? So Paul was focused on the kingdom of heaven. He was focused on building, right? Waking up the elect, man. Right? He wasn't focused on the former things. Right? And Paul was a murderer. Paul, he did all type of wickedness when he wasn't in the faith. But when he got in his faith, he had a different mindset. Right? Focused on the kingdom. Right? He was putting in that work. Right? So Paul, throughout his epistles, man, you see Paul working out his own salvation. Yeah, he had brothers. He had a church, right? He had these things and things of that sort, right? So Paul was constantly working out his own salvation. He was also exhorting brothers to do the same thing, because Paul knew at the end of the day, man, every man is going to be judged according to his own works, right? So it's very, very important. Right? Let's get verse 14. "I press towards the mark for the prize of the high calling of Yahweh and Hamashiach Yahushua." Right? And what's that prize? The prize is the kingdom of heaven. Immortality. Right? So Paul was on that straight and narrow path, right? Let's get verse 13. Right. Luke 13:23. Then said one said unto him, "Lord, are there few that be saved?" And he said unto them, strive to enter, right, unto the straight gate, that straight and narrow path. For many I say unto you will seek to enter in and shall not be able. Right? So there's going to be a lot of brothers and sisters seeking to enter in. Right? They're going to be seeking to enter in, and they're not going to be able to go in. Why? Because it's not about having this big congregation. It's not about having a damn extravaganza and having all this popularity and all this other stuff, man. Because you got to remember, in the second there's the 8th chapter, right? Only one person can enter at a time, right? So often more time, hey, you're going to be entering that alone, man, right? You're going to be entering that gate alone, right? And we often talk about individual lights. Well, the prophets were individual lights. Everybody's going to be judged individually according to their works. So at the end of the day, you're going to enter through that gate alone. Only one person can enter at a time. And that's heavy, and that's something brothers and sisters need to think about. When you're not around your congregation, when you're not around brothers, that's when it's most important, because everybody has their own personal relationship with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Most High don't deal with everybody on the same level, man. That's another thing brothers and sisters got to understand. So you have to work out your own salvation. That's best that Yahweh see it fit for you. Everybody got their own talent. Everybody got their own thing that they good at, man. Right? Brother might be better with prophecy. Brother might be better at breaking down dreams. Right? Brother might be better at prophesying. Right? Brother might be a great teacher. This brother might have great leader attributes. He might be a great leader, but he's not a great teacher. He might not be that deep. So everybody is working out your own salvation the way Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has set it up to be with them. Right? And it's good to be around brothers and sisters, right? The Bible say in Ecclesiastes, the 4th chapter, 2 is better than 1. Right? Sirach 37:12, it say, be continuing with a godly man. Right? I believe it's 1 Peter, the 4th chapter, right? It say, honor all men, love the brotherhood, right? And also say in the book of Sirach, I believe it's Sirach, the 4th chapter. I could be wrong. It say, get thyself the love of thy congregation, right? So it's good to be around brothers and sisters, man, right? Well, let's get second Esdras, chapter 8, and verse number 1, right? It reads, and he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come is for few, right? Very few people is going to be able to get this truth. Very few people is going to be able to get delivered out of here, man. Everybody is not going to be saved, right? The ones that work out their own salvation, the ones that do according to the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? The elect is going to be saved, man. All right, let's jump to verse 3, right? And it say, there be many created, right? Everybody was created, but few shall be saved, right? Only a few is going to be saved, right? Now, if we jump to 2 Esdras chapter 7, right? It say, the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, right? So this truth is narrow, man, right? You got to go through that straight narrow path. You can't really mess up, because if you fall left, hey, you're gonna drown. If you fall right, hey, you're gonna be burnt up. So you got to kind of stay straight, man, right? This is why this truth is hard, So that's why being on that straight and narrow. That's why this truth is the broad, the way that leads to life, right? Right, and we gonna get that. I believe that's Matthew the 7th chapter, right? And it say, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once, right? Only one man can fit at a time. You're not going to be bringing the congregation with you. You're not going to be bringing the camp with you, right? You're not going to be bringing a big body mass of people with you. You're going to enter alone, man, right? Even dealing with your family, your wife, your children. Everybody got to enter all at one time. I mean, one at a time. So if your wife and your children get salvation, they're going to enter, but only one can fit at one time, right? So that's heavy, that's deep, man. Right? So let's go back to the blue letter. Let's get the book of Matthew. I just want to bring that up. All right, it's Matthew chapter 7, verse number 13. It say, "Enter ye the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Many there be go with and threat." Right? That's you can do your own thing. You can come as you are. Right? God loves everybody. Right? The law was nailed to the cross. Right? You don't got to keep the commandments no more. Right? You can love God your own way. All right? You don't got to read the scriptures, even though God told you to read the scriptures. Right? So that's going to lead broad is the way that leads to destruction is going into thy own understanding, right? It's not fulfilling or doing the will of Yahweh Shemiel Shah, right? Let's get verse 14 because they say straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth into life, and few there be that find it. That's why we constantly say this truth is only for the elect, right? So let's get John, right? John chapter 6, verse 27. So like this John 6 and 27. It say, "Labor not for meat which perish, but for that meat which endureth into everlasting life, which the Son of Man should give unto you. For him have Yahweh the Father sealed," right? Which is the elect, right? So we don't labor for things that perish, right? We labor for things that have everlasting life, right? That's dealing with the book of Colossians, right? Our things are set on the things above, right? We're not thinking about things that perish away, the things that are going to be destroyed, right? And in 2 Peter the 3rd chapter, it say all the elements are going to be burnt up thereof. Everything you see, everything's going to be dissolved. These things are going to be burnt up, man, right? So we should be focused on the kingdom of heaven, getting the fuck up out of here, man. Excuse my language, right? So we got to run thy race, right? And I'm gonna get one more, and I'm gonna close up, man. Work out thy own salvation. All right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. They say, "Know ye not they which run the race run all, but receive it the prize? So run that ye may attain," right? You gotta run the race, right? You gotta be obedient, right? You gotta keep the law, statute, and commandments. You gotta have the faith, right? You gotta follow the rules. It's like the NBA, right? If a team don't follow the rules, guess what? They get penalized, right? In order to get that prize, you gotta what? You gotta play the game by the rules and win, right? And it's saying every man that striving for mastery is temperate in all things, right? Temperate means to have self-control, right? To be obedient. Now, they do it to attain a corruptible crown, right? They do it to attain corruptible crown, right? Fame, fortune, right? Popularity, right? They do these things here, but we're doing it to get what? An incorruptible crown, but we an incorruptible crown, right? So that's why I'm doing this series, man. This series is exhortation, Hey, let no man take that crown, right? Keep running. Work out your own salvation, man. And watch how things play out for you, man. And have faith. That goes for me, a brother, or a sister that's watching this video. Have faith, man. It's something we all working on right now. And we in the land it's barren of faith. That's what makes it so hard. We see the wickedness day in and day out that we see here. We got to wake up every day in hell, man. That's why having faith is important, right? And there's one verse that I want brothers and sisters to read is the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 24, right? Anything that you can see, fathom, right? What's the point of having faith in it? You can see it, right? Yahweh Shem Yahushua is eternal, man. Right? You can feel his presence, but you can't see him. Right? So we know that Yahweh was there. That's having faith, knowing that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is there, man. Right? But once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rikakadash. Shalom.